Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got a little video today I think you're going to find interesting. I think I'm going to title it Crimestoppers Tip, Murder of Young Girl. And it's I'm going to start right here with the unsolved Crimestoppers here. You can look it up for yourself here, Midland, Texas, unsolved case. And I'm just going to do this short read to you. The Midland County Sheriff's Office and the Texas Rangers are asking for your assistance with an investigation into the discovery of unidentified human remains. On August 1st, 2013, the unidentified human remains were discovered near an oil field location in Midland County, approximately 10 miles south of I-20 near FM 1213. The remains were determined to be a female, most likely being white or Hispanic, 14 to 21 years old at the time of death, and 59 to 67 inches tall. The DNA profile was developed and has been compared to other local missing persons, as well as entered into the national database. Homicide is suspected. Okay, so that is a current unsolved murder of a young girl here in Midland, Texas, 14 to 21. Okay, and it's going to make more sense here in a minute. Okay, I first started sending emails on this and to our new sheriff, because we had an election last year for sheriff, to Sheriff Kreiner in April-May timeframe right here, and I got a reply back, and that's what I'm going to show you right here. This is the only reply that I've got from Sheriff Kreiner right here, but I want to show it to you. It comes from here, David Kreiner, Sheriff Kreiner, and he forwarded this to this criminal investigation unit. And so my tip was Crimestoppers tip, multiple murders, and that's, the multiple suspected murders believed to be connected to the underground homes here. Okay. And I had told him here, I said, I spoke with the deputy steward a few minutes ago who told me to send this fact-filled email to his email address, but I also want to make sure that you got it to Sheriff Kreiner. If you remember, I told you on a Facebook message that I would contact you, and I believe that you'll find enough information and facts in here to solve multiple murders and stop this crime ring. I read that you're a man of God and a man of integrity. It's God that saved my life from impossible odds, as the evidence shows. These criminals loaded their guns and drove from their home to my home, cut my phone lines, and shot me from point blank range directly on an artery. They then listened to me scream for help, and I was just the next guy after the last guy. I was supposed to bleed out and die, but God saved my life. Some very bad things have gone on here, and I sincerely believe that he's doing something big, Buddy Webb. My phone number, and like I said, then Sheriff Kreiner replied and said he's forwarding this, information in this email to his criminal investigation unit. So hopefully they're working on it, because we're talking about multiple murders here. So since then, I did a search on my Gmail for all emails to Sheriff Kreiner, okay? And I usually copy in, sometimes the press, sometimes Senator Cornyn, etc., okay? And so I'm showing 84 emails that I've sent, in not quite a year, and fact-filled concerning multiple crimes, all kinds of evidence here. We're going to talk about the one that I sent today about the Crimestoppers tip, murder of the young girl. And it was just January 22nd. Yet another home with people in the attic. And I hadn't even talked about that, but there was another guy that told me here in Midland about people getting in his attic. There's so many. I was ambushed and shot with burglar alarms going on my attic, and now I've documented the homeowners all over the place reporting people in the attic, and that's part of this story. Okay. So anyway, we're here at the looking at online for Sheriff Kreiner, and he prior to running sheriff, he was the constable. He worked for DPS for 25 years, and he also even worked for the sheriff's department before that. And so I want to show you, and you can look him up, whatever. And also copied on this email was Texas Senator John Cornyn, okay? And you can see John Cornyn with his hand raised right there. And one thing I thought was interesting, in 2006, it said Senator Cornyn was awarded the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network Crime Fighter Award and the Children at Risk Founders Award for his work fighting for legislation to end the rape kit what is it? Backing and protect victims of child exploitation, which that was 2006. But this story is connected. We're talking about the murder of a 14-year-old, right, a 14 to 21-year-old, and it's suspected to be a forced prostitution murder. And so here he is my senator, and that's why he is copied on this. And I talked to his office in Dallas, and that's who I'm copied on this email, was his Dallas office for Senator Cornyn. Let me show you who it was sent to first, okay? Just a few minutes ago, 48 minutes ago is what it shows. And here it went to Sheriff Kreiner, okay, Midland Sheriff, the Texas Rangers. Remember, that's where the Crimestoppers said send information, okay? And then Senator Cornyn, okay? And so we got, all the way to Washington, people know this or seeing this evidence is going to the sheriff. And I'm not going to answer the phone, so it's just going to ring. Also copied on at KMID News, that's Big 2 News. MRT, that's the Midland Reporter Telegram, the newspaper here. K-West is Channel 9 News, and then CBS 7, and then also you'll see L. Dennis at OAOA.com. That is the news editor for the Odessa American, and that's Laura Dennis. And interestingly, I personally know her. I grew up with her. Her late brother was my best friend in Hobbs, New Mexico, and Laura knew about the crimes at my home before I was ambushed and shot and left for dead inside my home. Actually, it was Laura's suggestion that I call the first private investigator, Finley Investigations, a year before I was shot. And now I'm sending news to Laura Dennis, who's the news editor for the Odessa American. So we'll see how my long-term friend is going to report this, this fact-filled huge news story. What I've noticed is that our news seems to be covering up the crimes but we'll just see. I can't make that call yet. Sheriff Kreiner. The evidence shows without the possibility of doubt that somebody under my home shot me, and now there are multiple people documented saying that tunnels and underground homes are near my home. I didn't include that evidence in this video or even in this email, but it's there, and it's in them other emails, and it's posted over and over and over and over and over again. Overwhelming evidence shows that. Irrefutable, undeniable, without the shadow of a doubt. I wasn't shot with my gun. I have reason to believe this is where a young girl was murdered in October 2010, and it was her remains found in 2013, of which there is a Crimestoppers. I hope the evidence provided in this email helps you solve her murder. Maybe Sheriff Kreiner's reading this right now as I'm making this video. One of the people who have confirmed these underground homes was recent candidate for sheriff Joe Lozano. He ran against Kreiner for sheriff. I secretly recorded him telling me these underground homes was the hideout for the late Sheriff Gary Painter. I've attached a link to that phone call below. Okay, so that leaves no doubt that Lozano, one of the many people confirming underground homes are here. And so that's attached in this email. The video named Outside Evidence Found, which I just made and it is also attached, looks at some of the evidence which I found that may be clues to these tunnels and underground homes here, believed to have been used for the oil show parties where I was told that a young girl was murdered at in 2010. Okay. I was told on a recorded phone call about 4 3-bedroom $1 million homes buried at least 25 foot deep, and based on Google Maps, it looks like one of those is in my backyard. I've attached a screenshot. That phone call is in a video called Proof of Underground Homes and Tunnels starting at 1605, okay? And if he wants to listen to that one part about the 4 3-bedroom underground homes. A link to that recording is below. Obviously, this is where the famous and wild oil show parties were held and where that young girl was murdered at in 2010, which my friend Angie Mungia Herrley had told me about. In 2013, the remains of a young girl were found outside of Midland, and there's a Crimestoppers for her murder. I've attached a screenshot for this, okay? And I just read that to you. They're requesting people to send information, and that's what I'm doing. In October 2010, Angie was leaving my home and driving to the oil show parties where she was ordered to work. We talked on the phone while she drove, which is how I knew those parties were 5 minutes from my home. Please check our phone records to verify this. And you know, that's what I'm saying. Verify. If you don't believe me, verify it. I believe that she was parking in the Home Depot parking lot and then going underground somewhere over there before coming back towards my home via a tunnel that can be seen on Google Earth historical pictures. I've attached a screenshot of this. I suspect that the tunnel was filled in with concrete in July 2019, which happened 2 weeks after I showed Homeland Security where I believed it was located. I have a video of the concrete coming off the truck. Okay. It's also attached. One day I was telling a Home Depot clerk my story and she blurted out, "If you happen to see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, then it's because we're stalking." I hadn't seen that, nor had I thought about it, but a party for an international oil show would have a lot of people and would need a lot of parking along with an excuse to explain it. Okay, and I believe that was the excuse they were using. Another guy told me that he asked his friend about the basement under the Midland Home Depot store, and she told him it was dangerous to talk about that. I've attached a screenshot of him telling me this. Furthermore, the young previous owner of my home, Mike Lawhon, died the week before the 2008 oil show started. His death certificate says he died in Fort Worth, but a neighbor, Marilyn DeLucia, told me twice that he died in my home. She also said that somebody else died here before him. Confirmation of this came when Aaron Packelhofer asked me if I knew the names of the 4 people who had been murdered, died in my home. I attached a screenshot of this. The Odessa American posted a death notice for Mike Lawhon on October 14, 2008 and said he died in Fort Worth, but then 4 days later they posted a second revised death notice and changed the location of death to say he died at his residence. This was more confirmation that Mike died here the week before the 2008 oil show started. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. I've attached a screenshot of this. I'll be glad to answer any questions that your investigators have. Okay, sincerely, Buddy Webb. Okay, and here's the links to the videos, you know, and so outside evidence found for tunnels and underground homes. Hopefully the Sheriff Kreiner and Senator Cornyn is watching this right now. Outside evidence found for tunnels. I went outside and I just made that video here a couple days ago. Okay. The second one, it's dangerous to talk about that. I made this video yesterday, I think, okay? And that's showing where I was sent. The friend said he talked to his friend that asked about the basement under Home Depot, and she warned him it's dangerous to talk about that. And I think, you know, she's probably aware of the murders, you know, that they'll sneak in your home and shoot you by surprise, you know? And so, and here's the next one, Painter's Underground Hideout. That's the secretly recorded phone call with Joe Lozano during the election for sheriff. He was running for sheriff of Midland County. Kreiner won it, okay, but Joe Lozano was running for sheriff. And Joe Lozano told me, Painter, that was Painter's hideout. It's on that recording. That's a viral video. And then here's the last one, proof of underground homes and tunnels. This one's where I went through and I found everywhere somebody had said that I knew about them underground homes or any kind of evidence, proof, witness testimony, etc. is in this one right here. There's 3-bedroom underground homes, at least 25 foot deep, etc. Okay, and so then the screenshots. This is what we looked at, the Crimestoppers. We looked at it online. I attached it for the sheriff and the senator, okay? And here, I wanted to show this. I told him I attached it, and I did, okay? And one, Ricky Ronaldo said, I used to live in my house. He used to live in my house, and there were tunnels under it. Him and his brother would go in the tunnels under my home when they lived here. So I have a print screen of Ricky Ronaldo, law enforcement could talk to. What I'm showing here in Google Earth historical pictures, and I believe this one was taken in June 2011, which is about 6 months before I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home. It showed what it looked like. You know, plane flies over, takes a picture, whatever, satellite picture. You could see here the secluded truck unloading lane behind the Home Depot store. The ground's cut right here. And you project it out, it goes directly to my house, okay? My house where I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home. Actually, right here is where I was ambushed and shot. It looks like in my backyard is one of them 4 underground homes, okay? And so it's real easy to see. That's what I showed Homeland Security, was where I believe that the, what I call the human trafficking murder tunnel was at for the oil show party. So that was attached. Okay, and then in 2019, I showed Homeland Security. I went back there behind Home Depot with them and showed them where I believe this tunnel was used for the murder of that little girl, the human trafficking murder. They're supposed to take care of human trafficking. 2 weeks later, the ground's dug up and concrete was pouring off the truck, right? And I believe they were filling it up. And about 3 months after that, Secretary of Homeland resigns, and then 6 days later, Secretary of Energy Rick Perry resigns. And I suspect it's because they got caught pouring concrete, trying to cover up capital murder of that little girl, and that needs to be investigated. This is what I mentioned, another print screen, and here's what I've told online. This friend's telling me I mentioned a basement being under the Midland Home Depot to a girl I know. Her first response was, "How do you know this? Be careful who you're telling this to and how that's dangerous. You need to be careful who you're talking to about that." So I know she knows, okay? And so I left his name anonymous because these are dangerous criminals, okay? Suspected of multiple murders. Here's Aaron Packelhofer, local businessman in Midland, Texas. I believe he's a Freemason as well. And he asked me, he says, "Buddy, I'm well aware of the many corruption accusations against the Midland Police Department. I'm not so sure it's a secret police scenario as much as it's pure criminal activity by the police. But if I can ask, there were 4 people who were murdered, died in your house. What are their names?" Well, I didn't know their names, but obviously Aaron Packelhofer knows the names, and I didn't even know there were 4 people murdered, died in my house. That was confirmation of what Marilyn DeLucia had already told me, that Mike died here and that somebody else died here before him, okay? As I mentioned, the Odessa American, where my friend from grade school, Laura Ludwell, is the editor, the news editor, okay? The Odessa American posted a death notice for Mike Lawhon, and this was posted on October 12, 2008, and said he died in Fort Worth, okay? You see that, okay? And then 4 days later, they posted a second death notice, and they changed the location of death to say he died at his residence, okay? That wasn't on accident. Somebody had to go in there and do that. And remember, Marilyn DeLucia told me that Mike died in my house at this residence. This was his residence, okay? So this confirmed what Marilyn said. She said somebody else died here too. And then Aaron Packelhofer tells me that there's 4 people that murdered, died in my house, okay? And so there's some people need to be investigated. So, and then these are the links to the videos that I sent. So anyway, I thought you'd find that interesting. We all hoping that Sheriff Kreiner is a man of integrity. He is a Christian, as he says he is, and we can stop these multiple murders, because it's plain as day. As far as I'm concerned, besides the fact somebody under my home, shot me by surprise, I'm now crippled for life, living under the threat of death. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Talk to you later.